Okay, hello traders, hello everyone. My name is Olimpiu Tuns and thanks for joining me here at this live session. This is only for VIP, so I'm waiting, guys, for your questions into the YouTube chat. If you have questions or if you want me to look on a specific market, please, I'm waiting for messages, guys. And first of all, please, guys, confirm that you can hear me and that everything is okay before we get started. Please also read the risk disclaimer before we'll start talking about Forex pairs, about commodities, indexes, cryptocurrencies. So please, guys, if you can hear me, please confirm into the chat. Yeah, hi. Can you confirm that you can hear me? Hey, Carlos. Yeah, I hope that everything is okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we will talk about gold and we'll talk, let's take a look on gold first of all. Thank you guys. Yeah, so let's start with gold, guys, this session, this live session. So here we have the 4-hour chart. And as you can see here, as I've told you in my previous live webinar, I've told you that the price has reached here a strong support area. It has registered a false breakdown here with great separation below this inside sliding line. So this sliding line acts as a dynamic support here within this ascending pitchfork. So we have a narrow range here in the short term. The price has decreased a little here, but the bias is still bullish as long as the price stays right above this one, above this inside sliding line. Okay, so the bias is still bullish, and I believe that an upside breakout here from this narrow range, from this pattern, could bring us maybe new opportunities and could signal further growth. Okay, so the bias is bullish, the outlook is bullish. The price of gold could continue to increase as long as it is located, it is traded right above this inside sliding line. Okay, very important. And as you can see here, we have a new upside target here at the first warning line of the major descending pitchfork. So the price should reach it in the coming hours, in the coming days, and I believe that a valid breakout above this warning line, a new higher high here, an upside breakout from this pattern could really signal a further growth here on gold. Okay, so the bias is bullish and the price of gold could continue to increase. And let's take a look on the DXY, because personally I really like to use this correlation between the DXY, the US dollar index, and gold. Okay, so right now you can see here on the 4-hour chart that the DXY, the dollar index, decreases, so that's why the price of gold has jumped higher again. Okay, so as you can see here, the price of gold has increased, the DXY has decreased. So a further decline here registered by the DXY after reaching this dynamic resistance here. This is 150% Fibonacci line. So this line here acts as a dynamic resistance. You can see that the price has decreased, has jumped higher to retest it, So if the DXY will decrease again in the short term, then the price of gold should jump higher, okay? And only if the DXY will resume its growth, its rebound, its reversal here to close above this immediate high and to continue higher, then the price of gold could slip lower in the short term. So personally, I really like to use this correlation, guys, between the DXY with gold, between the DXY with euro versus the US dollar. We will talk about euro versus the US dollar as well, and I will show you how to trade using this correlation. Okay, so right now the price of gold is still bullish and it could continue to increase as long as the DXY could drop, and the DXY remains under some pressure, some selling pressure. So here we had only a false breakdown with great separation between 50% retracement level 1763. It has failed to close around 1755 around the weekly support, so it has jumped above the pivot point, and now it could stabilize right above the first resistance. And as I've told you, a valid breakout here above this warning line here, and a new higher high, something like this maybe, could signal a potential growth here in the short term. Okay, and if the price registers a valid breakout from this narrow range, then it should increase significantly in the short term. Maybe it could jump towards 1830, and maybe it will jump above again, above the medium line of the ascending pitchfork. Okay, so the bias is bullish, and personally I believe that the price of gold could drop only if it drops and stabilizes right below this sliding line. Okay, you can see that this line acts as a strong dynamic support, so only a drop, valid breakdown here could maybe indicate also a downside breakout from this narrow range, also from this ascending pitchfork body, and maybe we'll have a short opportunity. But right now we are looking only for buying opportunities as long as the price is traded right above this sliding line. Okay, let's go and let's talk about crude oil. Thank you guys for all your messages here, and if you like my analysis, if you like this live session, you could give us a like. This will be very helpful for us. Okay, so let's talk about the US oil here. The price has continued to increase after retesting here the weekly pivot point 63.19, and now it has reached a new upside resistance and obstacle and target at the R3 at R1 65.70. so the price could decrease a little from this area, from this level, only if the US dollar will continue to increase in the short term versus the other pairs. If the US dollar versus the Canadian dollar will jump higher, then maybe the US oil could decrease a little in the short term. But as you already know from my analysis, from my previous analysis, live sessions, the bias is bullish. Okay, and let's take a look on the daily chart. Yeah, we'll talk about euro versus the US dollar. Thank you guys for all your messages. Right after I will finish here with the US oil. So the US oil has decreased a little here, but its failure to stabilize right below the 23.6 retracement level, below the lower medium line of the descending pitchfork, has signaled that the drop will be only a temporary one. The corrective phase will be only a minor one before the price will jump higher again. So right now the price is almost to reach a strong resistance area here. That's why I've told you that we may have a minor decrease here in the short term, but the bias is bullish, and if the price will make something like this, like a valid breakout from this descending pitchforks body above the R1, above the upper medium line, above this resistance area, a bullish momentum, a minor decrease, test, retest, false breakdowns, maybe followed by a new higher high. Then we'll have a confirmation then that the US oil will continue to increase in the upcoming period, guys. Okay, so right now we are almost to hit a strong resistance area, and we don't have an opportunity here right now because we have to wait to see if the price will register a valid breakout or if the price will register only false breakouts, and if we may have a potential decrease, a temporary decrease here on the US oil. Okay guys, let's continue with the euro versus the US dollar. And as you already know, and let's take a look on the 4-hour chart, and I will talk also about our open positions right now, about the New Zealand dollar versus the US dollar, about the US dollar versus the Japanese yen. So the price failed here to stabilize right above the broken downtrend line, major downtrend line. Yeah, and I've told you that a breakdown below this uptrend line, maybe below 1.2079, could bring us a temporary decline. Yeah, we will talk about the GBP versus the Japanese yen. We have a strong sell-off there, and I will show you why the Japanese yen is strongly bullish right now. And the Japanese yen has increased in the last hours versus all its rivals. You said delete, buy, stop, USD, GBP USD, but I didn't not understand this was triggered, even my stop loss triggered as well. We'll take a look on the GBP versus the US dollar as well. And yeah, you received a message to delete that buy stop. Yeah, okay, so let's continue here with euro versus the US dollar. So this breakdown here through the immediate uptrend line signaled the potential decrease, and now the price has found again support right on the 1.1999, and the price has rebounded here a little, has increased a little here, only because the DXY has decreased. Okay, so you can use this strong negative correlation between the DXY, the US dollar index, and the euro versus the US dollar. So when the DXY drops, yeah, like here, euro versus the US dollar increases. So the pair has reached this support, this former low, this support area, and now is struggling to come back higher, maybe towards the weekly pivot here, towards 1.2061. Okay. Now we didn't discuss silver. Adam, I will take a look on silver as well. Ahmed, yeah, we talked about gold, but I will take a look again on gold for you. That's why I'm here, guys. I'm trying to answer to all of your questions. Okay. Okay, so we don't have something here right now on the euro versus the US dollar, only because I really need to see a confirmation on the DXY, on the dollar index, and maybe a drop here, a new lower low, valid breakdown here below 1.1999 could signal a further decrease here, but this scenario will take shape and euro versus the US dollar will continue to drop here, to extend its minor decrease, only if the DXY, the US dollar index, will close and stabilize above this immediate high 91.38. If it closes here, then it might continue to increase, and that's why euro versus the dollar could continue to drop. Now let me take a look. Hi, can you explain why did you send these two signals in the same day? Sell US dollar versus the Singapore dollar and buy USD JPY. How you sell and buy dollar at the same time? Does that make sense? Okay, so I didn't open those trades. It was my colleague yesterday. He was live yesterday, so he opened those trades, but I will take a look also on the US dollar versus the Singapore dollar, and I will explain it myself, and also I will take a look also on the US dollar versus the Japanese yen, and we will talk about these. No, I will answer to you. Okay, so USD versus the Singapore dollar. So there are traders who don't use correlations between currency pairs, guys. So that's why maybe my colleague has decided to sell US dollar versus the Singapore dollar and to buy the US dollar versus the Japanese yen. And the US dollar versus the Japanese yen, let's take a look. So the US dollar versus the Japanese yen is still bullish. Okay, so even if we had or even if we'll have a temporary decline here, maybe to retest again the 23.6, maybe the weekly pivot, maybe the medium line of the ascending pitchfork, or maybe this one here, maybe this uptrend line, the bias is still bullish, guys. So that's why in the short term US dollar versus the Japanese could decline a little before it will jump higher again. So that's why we decided to go long again on the US dollar versus Japanese yen. And here on the US dollar versus the Singapore dollar, it was an intraday trade after the price has registered here only a false breakout with great separation above this R1 weekly resistance 1.3338. okay, so the price has reached here a resistance area in the short term, and that's why we decided to go short on this one yesterday, and the price has decreased a little, but unfortunately it has failed to continue and to approach and reach our target. So that's why it has closed with a minor loss, with a few pips loss. Okay, so that was the reason. Okay, Hayat. Okay, yeah, we will talk about the GBP versus the Japanese yen, also about Euro versus the Japanese yen, because I've told you earlier that I really want to show you why the Japanese yen is strongly bullish right now in the short term. I don't know, Rashid, why your GBP versus the US dollar has triggered. I believe this depends on spread, it depends on your broker, unfortunately. Yeah, because we had here a buy stop right above these highs, and the price here for us failed to reach our entry. And yeah, unfortunately, if the price reached the entry, yeah. So right now the GBP versus the US dollar, I will delete this one from here. It's not very helpful right now, and as you can see, the price, if the price would have stabilized right above the 23.6, right above the weekly pivot, right above 1.3865, then we expected a further growth here in the short term. That's why we decided to place a buy stop here on the GBP versus the US dollar. But right now the price drops as the DXY is still higher, and it could still resume its growth here. Okay. Mohammed, I don't have much information about other brokers, but do you search YouTube and you will find many with low spread. Yeah guys, I will not recommend you any broker. You will search yourself for a broker that will be helpful for you, for your needs, and yeah, you should search for a very good broker in your area. Okay, so let's continue, and let me take a look on your messages, guys. Yeah, a lot of messages, thank you guys. Okay, and let's jump to US dollar versus the Canadian dollar. Thank you, Abdullah. Okay, let's take a look here. Unfortunately, here the bias is still bearish. As you can see, the pair has failed here to confirm, to validate a potential bullish reversal. So we had a strong drop. Right now the price, US dollar versus the Canadian dollars, has increased a little to retest 1.2345 weekly pivot, and also the major downtrend line, but the bias is still bearish here. And maybe only something like this, like a valid breakout here, maybe consolidation, could bring us a new leg higher in the short term, but this will take shape, this will happen, a new leg higher will take shape only if the DXY, as I've told you earlier, only if the DXY will make something like this to make a new higher high retest, and then it could increase a little in the short term. But it remains to see how the DXY, the US dollar index, will react right after the US will release later. Let's take a look here on the economic calendar. One moment, guys. So one moment. So we have the factory orders today. Okay, here, factory orders. The US is to release its factory orders later in less than 40 minutes. So the specialists, the economists, are expecting 1.3% growth here, registered by the factory orders. So let's see how the price here of the DXY reacts right after this major and high impact indicator will be released. And I believe that an important growth here above 1.3%, maybe 1.4, or at least 1.3, it could boost the US dollar in the short term. Personally, I believe that the US dollar could increase a little in the short term if the factory orders will increase more than expected. And I believe that the DXY could slip lower towards the weekly pivot, towards the 61.8, if the factory orders will disappoint here in about 40 minutes. Okay, we will take a look on this one right after the US it will release its factory orders data. Okay, because this could be critical for today here for the US dollar future in the short term. Okay. Okay, please use Fibonacci. Sometimes I get lost when you use correlations. Yeah, maybe I will make in the coming days a tutorial how to use correlations in trading, maybe on Thursday, guys. only for you, and I will post the tutorial in the VIP Telegram group for you guys, because personally I really like to use correlation in trading, okay, because it's very important to understand how the markets are moving, okay. When a market moves up, then markets move down, so that's why you could use these correlations in trading, guys. Okay, so let's continue. Mohammed, yeah, the Canadian dollar versus the Japanese yen, also the New Zealand dollar versus the Japanese yen, the Australian dollar versus the New Zealand dollar, yeah. And we will talk also about silver. I will take a look also on gold again, but first of all I have a few messages here. Carlos, GBP versus the Japanese yen. Okay, so we had a strong drop here and the price is back above the weekly pivot. And let's take a look first of all, before we'll talk about all these currencies. Let's take a look. I will delete this from here. So let's take a look here on the Japanese stock index, guys. Okay, and as you can see here, yeah, Carlos, right now I will talk about the pound versus the Japanese yen. Let me take a look on our platform. Because I really believe that the GBP versus the US dollar buy stop was deleted. One moment. So as you can see here, our buy stop on the GBP versus the US dollar was deleted, and it was not triggered for us, guys. So I've told you that the GBP versus the US dollar signal, the pending order, was deleted and it was not reached our entry level, guys. Okay, so the reason why the Japanese yen drops right now is because the Japanese stock index has dropped aggressively right now in the last hours after failing to reach the R1, the weekly resistance. So now is back at the uptrend line. So this aggressive sell-off here registered by the Nikkei, by the Japanese stock index, has forced the Japanese yen to increase. So that's why we have sell-offs on all pairs who have the Japanese yen as a component. Okay, so that's why the US dollar versus the Japanese yen has decreased. That's why the GBP versus the Japanese yen has decreased, and so on. Okay, it reached the entry level on eToro. Sorry guys, for us it didn't reach the entry level, so that's why in our platform I've shown you our real account. So our buy stop was deleted after that important sell-off. The price has reached the stop loss without reaching our entry level, guys. So that's why we deleted that pending order. Okay, so A further drop here registered by the Nikkei, by the Japanese stock index, could force the Japanese yen to increase. So let's go back to the pound versus the Japanese yen. So we had a sell-off here after the price has registered only false breakout here above 151.98, guys. And let's jump here on the 1 hour. You can see here that the price has increased, and it has printed this one here, this pin bar, this shooting star. So this was a signal that we may have a temporary drop here on the GBP versus Japanese yen. This pin bar was confirmed, and the price has continued to decrease here, only because the Japanese yen is strongly bullish in the short term, as the Japanese stock index has decreased, guys. I didn't use GBP versus US dollar signal anyway, because it doesn't make sense to sell dollar while having another profitable trade for buying dollar. Yeah guys, we have a long. Let's take a look on the US dollar versus the Japanese yen. So we still have a long position here on the US dollar versus the Japanese yen. Okay, but the Japanese yen, as I've told you, is strongly bullish. We had this drop today. Our stop loss here on our long position on the US dollar versus the Japanese yen is at 108.85, and our entry was here at 108.57. So we are safe, we are protected, and yeah, we have a long position here on the US dollar versus the Japanese yen. And also let's take a look on the other long position. Yeah, please take a look here. Okay, so the price is almost to reach our stop loss at break even 0.7145, guys. Okay, maybe for some of you the position is already closed at break even, the New Zealand dollar versus the US dollar. And here on the New Zealand dollar versus the US dollar, the price has decreased, but now it has reached the medium line, which acts as dynamic support, guys. Okay, so only false breakdown and now rebound, and that's why we decided here to protect our long or our short position, sorry, to place the stop loss at break even, because the price has reached the medium line. It has registered only a false breakdown here, and that's why we decided to place and to move our stop loss at break even, guys, because it was risky to keep it and to keep this long on the US dollar as long as the price stays right above the medium line of the ascending pitchfork. And again, here DXY, yes, I will talk again about gold as well. Again, the DXY has reached this resistance here, former high, and this 150%. Okay, so only if the price of the DXY will register a valid breakout here, jump and stabilize right above it, then it could continue to increase, and only then we could think that the dollar will appreciate versus all its rivals, guys. Okay, and a new drop from here will signal that the dollar will depreciate versus its rivals. Okay, so a potential drop here, a potential drop here would have forced the GBP versus US dollar to increase. Gold, let's go back to gold, and then we will talk again about the. Okay, so we talked about gold at the beginning of this webinar. So gold is still bullish. It has failed here to test or retest the inside sliding parallel line, which acts as a dynamic support here. So a valid breakout here above the warning line, a new higher high, an upside breakout here from this narrow range could signal that the price of gold could continue to increase, guys. And I believe that the price of gold will continue to increase if the risk off sentiment will dominate the markets, if the US dollar will depreciate versus its rivals, guys. Okay, so that's it here about gold. The bias is bullish after this false breakdown here below the sliding line, below the 50%. Test retests here. The price has confirmed this sliding line as strong as an important dynamic support, and now is struggling, is fighting hard to stabilize right above the R1, the weekly R1, and stabilizing above it. A valid breakout here could signal a further increase here in gold, guys. And again, guys, if you like our analyses, our live sessions, you can give us a like. It will be very helpful, guys. And let's continue and let's talk about again GBP versus the Japanese yen. So right now the pair is at support here. We have this warning line, the weekly pivot. So as long as the price stays above these downside obstacles, the price could start increasing again, but only if the Nikkei, the Japanese stock index, will increase as well in the short term. Okay, so here false breakdowns, test retests could bring us a new growth, a new leg higher in the short term here on the GBP versus the Japanese yen, but only if the Nikkei will increase, guys. So as you can see, the Nikkei has retested the uptrend line, and the potential growth from here, a new leg higher here, could force the Japanese yen to depreciate again versus its rival. So an important growth here, maybe a new higher high, valid breakout above the R1, above these former highs, could really signal an important growth here. So this potential scenario, this potential upside scenario, could bring us new upside momentums on the euro versus the Japanese yen, on the euro versus the Japanese yen, on the GBP versus the yen. So yeah, we will talk about the US 100 as well. Thank you guys for all your messages. Thank you for joining me here. And let's take a look also on euro versus the Japanese yen. So here as well, a strong drop after its failure here to reach the weekly resistance. So a temporary drop here on euro versus the Japanese yen is normal and natural, because let me delete these after this aggressive rally here. Okay, so we may have here a temporary drop before the price starts increasing again. If the now, Adam, we didn't discuss about silver. I will take a look on silver in the coming minutes, in a few minutes, and thank you guys for your patience. So this could be only a temporary decline here on the euro versus the Japanese yen, because a potential rally on the Nikkei, on the Japanese stock index, could bring us a new upside momentum, a bullish momentum here. And as I've told you, a temporary decrease here was somehow expected, and it could be natural after this aggressive rally here. Okay, so we have a support area here around the medium line of the descending pitchfork, and if the price will reach it, and maybe if it will register only a false breakdown or test retest, several false breakdowns, or a pin bar here to print a pin bar, then we may have a new upside momentum here on the euro versus the Japanese yen. But it is very important to understand the correlation with the Japanese stock index. Okay, so here we are at support and a potential growth here, a new higher high, valid breakout above the weekly R1 could bring an important growth here on the Japanese stock index. Then euro versus the Japanese yen, the GBP versus the Japanese yen will increase, guys. Let's take a look on US 100 on Nasdaq. Yeah, we have here a strong drop, a sell-off. And let's take a look on the DXY. So this rebound, bounce back growth here registered by the DXY, by the US dollar index, has signaled that the US indexes, equities could drop. So here we are, guys, on the Nasdaq US 100. The price has moved sideways within a narrow range here. It has failed here to register a valid breakout above 14,043.1 resistance, so only a false breakout here. It has failed to resume its growth towards fresh all-time highs. Yeah, we will talk about, yeah, Carlos, we will right now we are talking about the US 100. We will talk about the US 500. We will talk also about the US 30 and about DAX, about cryptocurrencies as well, and we will talk also about other currency pairs. So right now we have a strong sell-off here on the US 100 on Nasdaq. Okay, after the price's failure to register a valid breakout from this range, from this narrow range, but the bias is still bullish here. The price could drop towards this area here, support area, S3, and also towards a major uptrend line. So yeah, New Zealand dollar versus US dollar closed at break even. Yeah, as I told you guys, we decided to place that stop loss at break even only because the New Zealand dollar versus US dollar has reached an important support. Okay, so the US 100 could register maybe only a temporary drop here towards the major uptrend line, and this temporary decline, corrective phase, correction could help us to catch a new upside momentum. Okay, and the price could approach this support area before it will maybe retest, register only false breakdowns before it will start increasing again. So a temporary decrease towards this area could bring us a new buying opportunity here on the US 100. Right now we don't have anything here, even if maybe we had something here to sell here in the short term, but personally I still believe that we will have only a minor decrease here in the US 100, and it was risky to sell it here in the short term because the outlook is still bullish despite this temporary decrease here on the US 100. US 500, S&P here as well. If you remember from my previous lives or from my analyses, I've told you guys that the US 500 could decrease a little and maybe it could come back to test and retest this uptrend line in the short term after its failure, guys. Let's take a look here. After its failure, guys, to continue to increase towards this upside line of our major up channel. Okay, so The buyers are exhausted here, so the price could decrease a little towards this area here, towards this support area, and towards this uptrend line before starting increasing again. Yeah, we'll talk about US 30 as well. So right now the US equities are going down. We have strong sell-offs, but as I've told you earlier on the US 100, it's risky to go short here only on the short term, on the US 500, on the US 100, on the US 30. Okay, so here again we may have a temporary drop towards this level, 41.19.5. we have an important support here, immediate support, short term, near term support, and we'll keep an eye on this one, and we'll see how the price will react here after it will reach this support zone. False breakdowns, test retests, rejections could bring us a good buying opportunity from these lows here. Okay, US 30, guys. US 30, so the price decreases as well after retesting the upper medium line of the descending pitchfork, and now it could drop here again towards 33,697 static support. Okay, so we have an important support here, also around 23.6, also at this inside sliding parallel line. So right now the price is trapped within this range or down channel, guys, if the price will continue to drop and to reach and retest the sliding line. And a potential drop here, test retest, maybe false breakdowns, a potential reversal pattern here in the short term could signal a new upside momentum and could bring us a new long entry here, guys. So we have to wait to see how the price will react here around this support area, around this zone, support zone. And I really believe that only something like this could bring us a larger correction drop on the US 30. Okay, the price to drop below 30,697, to drop also about this sliding line, to stabilize right below it, and to continue to drop. Let's take a look also on DAX. DAX drops as well. Let's delete this one from here. Personally, I believe that I thought that the price will maybe jump higher, and if the price would have stayed right above 15,157, and if it would have jumped above these immediate highs, then we expected a potential growth here. But the price has retested the medium line of the descending pitchfork, and now is traded right below the lower medium line. So we had an aggressive breakdown here below this former low, below these former lows, actually below this support area, and now DAX 30, the German stock index, continues to drop. So we have an important sell-off here, and let's try to find some downside targets, guys. Yeah, okay, so right now we are at 150% Fibonacci line of the descending pitchfork, and here we have the first warning line of the descending pitchfork, which could be used as a potential downside target, guys, if the price of DAX will continue to drop here. And as you already know from my analysis, from my live webinars, DAX was somehow expected to drop after failing here to come back above these former high 15,373. okay, it has failed also to stabilize right above the weekly resistance R1, and this drop test retests this candle here, false breakout with great separation. So this is a, let's zoom in here, and so this is a false breakout with great separation. The price has increased, yeah, it has increased here as much as 15,272.3, but it has closed far below it. So this is a false breakout with great separation, signaling that we have strong sellers in the short term, signaling that the selling pressure is high. And this one here, this false breakout with great separation, has signaled that we may have a further growth in the short term here on DAX 30, guys. Okay, so right now the price is challenging the 150% line, also the weekly S2. A valid breakdown here could signal a further drop towards the first warning line, towards S3, guys. So we have a strong sell-off here on DAX. And if you want here some static support levels, we can use these, all these, and we can use these as potential downside targets. And okay, okay, US dollar versus the Danish krone. Yeah, we have here a temporary rebound. The price has jumped above the immediate downtrend line, and let's take a look again on the DXY. Yeah, so if the DXY will really make something like this, valid breakout, a new higher high, it will continue to increase, then the US dollar versus the Danish krone, it will resume its growth here in the short term. So the price has retested the weekly pivot, and now it has failed to stabilize right above the former high. And we really need here for the price to stabilize right above this former high, 6.1882, something like this, to be able to continue to increase in the short term. Okay, which broker do you use for trading indices? I trade on AvaTrade, but the prices are all different than these here. Yeah, guys, unfortunately the prices are different from broker to broker on CFDs and trading indices. So yeah, if you don't like maybe a trade or how the price looks on your platform, or if the price is not the same like in our analysis, yeah, you could take the decision not to open a trade. Silver, yeah, we will talk about silver, Adam, thank you. So here, personally, I believe that if the price will close a bullish candle here on the 4-hour chart above this high, above this former high 6.1971, then I believe that it could continue to increase. And it will continue to increase here only if the DXY will continue to increase, as I've told you earlier. Personally, I really like to use that correlation, guys. Okay, but as you can see here, this could be only a temporary increase here, maybe towards the medium line, towards R1, R2, because as you can see, the bias is bearish here. The price has failed here to confirm a bullish reversal after its failure here to stabilize right above, sorry guys, above the medium line. So the pressure is still high here, guys, so it's risky to go long here only towards these areas here, maybe towards the medium line, but this could be only a temporary growth here, guys. Silver. Thank you, Adam. So silver, guys, I sent you an analysis, a video analysis yesterday. Unfortunately, the price has increased aggressively, and I posted that analysis later, but I will explain you why here. So the price has decreased here within a descending pitchfork, right? With targets here and with a dynamic support here at the medium line. Okay, test, retest, only false breakdowns. Okay, and now the price has increased and it has reached the upper medium line, and now it has validated the breakout above this upper medium line, this dynamic resistance. Yeah, test, retest, false breakdowns, false breakdown here with great separation. Also, we have here at 25.851 we have static support, important static support, and this rally here above this immediate high has signaled and it has confirmed a further growth here in the short term on silver, guys. And right now silver has managed to stabilize right above R2 weekly resistance 25,806, and now it could close above yesterday's high. So if the price closes right above yesterday's high to stabilize also above the sliding line, then it could continue to increase towards R3 and, guys, towards this 150% Fibonacci line. Okay, so this is our 150% Fibonacci line, which could be used as an important upside target here, and also R3 if the price stabilizes right above yesterday's high here. Okay, and silver is strongly bullish right now, also because gold is bullish right now as well. You can see it here, right? Also because the DXY is trading in the red here, the US dollar index decreases right now. Okay, that's why silver and gold are trading in the green, guys. Okay, let me take a look on some of your messages, and I really want to answer. And let's take a look. We talked about the GBP versus Japanese yen, Euro Japanese yen, GBP versus the US dollar versus the Canadian dollar. Let's talk also about Bitcoin and Ether, because maybe you are interested also in cryptocurrencies, guys. So Bitcoin failed here to stabilize right above this 250% Fibonacci line. It has also failed here to reach the 60,000 psychological level, and now it's trading in the red again, and most likely it will challenge the weekly pivot again, 54,681, and maybe a valid breakdown below it to close to stabilize below it, could signal a further drop here in the short term on Bitcoin, but only in the short term, because personally I still believe that Bitcoin has ended its corrective phase here. Drop, it has printed this pin bar here, it has failed to approach these former lows, but as you already know from my analyses, from my live webinars, the price of Bitcoin needs maybe a strong consolidation here in the short term before really deciding to jump higher towards the historical highs. Okay, so this one again could be only a temporary drop, and if it stays stabilizes right above the weekly pivot, maybe something like this, valid breakout above the 250% Fibonacci line, then it could signal a new upside momentum here on Bitcoin. Okay, so this one could be only a temporary drop again on Bitcoin. Technically and fundamentally, personally, I believe that the outlook is still bullish. Okay, even if we'll have a temporary drop also towards S1. Okay, something like this, towards this support area. We have here a strong support area, so even if the price of Bitcoin will decrease here, test retests could bring us a new maybe buying opportunity and a new leg higher here on Bitcoin. Right, Australian dollar versus the Canadian dollar. Yeah, right after I will talk about the Ethereum. And guys, again, if you like our analyses, our live sessions, please give us a like. Only if you like our analyses and our live sessions, our way of doing things here. So here we have the Ethereum. This major crypto, this altcoin, is strongly bullish, and as you can see here, I've told you here, right after this breakout, valid breakout above this upside line of the up channel here, guys, that the price of Ethereum should continue to increase, right? And I've told you that it could approach the upper medium line of the ascending pitchfork. And right now I will delete these because we have a lot of lines here. So one moment, guys. So here we have the fourth warning line of a former descending pitchfork, and here we have the fifth warning line. The price has found temporary resistance at this fifth warning line, also at the R2 weekly resistance 3428.56. The price has decreased, has retested the R1, and now it has registered an aggressive breakout above these immediate obstacles. So now it could continue to increase here as long as it stays here, right above this broken resistance area, guys. But it is not recommended to buy it right now here at these new historical highs, because the price could register a temporary decrease anytime. So we'll have to wait maybe for a temporary consolidation here to retest the broken R2, the broken fifth warning line, and here we have also the first warning line of the ascending pitchfork, guys. So retest here, false breakdowns, consolidation could bring us a new long entry here on Ethereum. and maybe if we will have, yeah, sir, we need signals, not analysis alone. Yeah, guys, when we have signals, and personally I really wanted to open something today, but unfortunately I had something on Russell for you guys, but unfortunately, yeah, it was a buy stop, but unfortunately the price has decreased, has failed here to approach to reach our entry level, so this is not valid anymore on Russell, because personally I really wanted to open a live trade here on Russell today, but here we have this aggressive sell-off after the price failed here to stabilize right above the medium line of the ascending pitchfork. And once we have signals, we will post all our signals into the VIP Telegram group only for you guys. You already know that. And here with our live sessions, we also want to educate you, to show you how to use technical analysis, price action, technical indicators, technical tools. Okay, so we decided, guys, to send only maybe 1 or 2 signals per day, and to go live 3 or 4 times per week. Okay, so yeah, personally I really wanted to open a live trade here today, but unfortunately we didn't find a great setup with a good risk to reward ratio for you right now live. And let's take a look here again on the economic calendar. One moment, because the US factory orders were released, and we have here 1.1% growth, below 1.3 expected. And let's take a look on the DXY. The DXY has changed a little right now in these maybe 7, 8 minutes after the US factory orders publication. Maybe it will decline here in the short term further towards the 61.8, towards the pivot point, only because maybe the traders will be disappointed about this data. So the factory orders have increased only by 1.1%, below 1.3 expected. So this could weaken a little the US dollar. So the US dollar could depreciate, could decrease in the short term right now, as you can see here also on the euro versus the US dollar. Let's jump on the 15 minutes chart. So euro versus the US dollar could jump higher here in the short term if the DXY will continue to drop after these poor US data. Okay, let me take a look on some of your messages, guys. We have a lot of messages here. Canadian dollar versus the Japanese yen. So we had a strong rally here. The Canadian dollar was strongly bullish in the short term. It has increased versus the US dollar and versus other major currencies, versus euro, versus the euro. And right now we could have a temporary decline before the pair will jump higher again. As you already know, the Japanese yen has increased today only because the Japanese stock index has decreased. Okay, so that's why this pair has decreased here, and test retest here. A temporary decline was somehow expected after this important rally, so we may have something from this area again. Sorry guys. So if the price test retests this area here, we may have a long entry, and I will send you guys the signal into the VIP Telegram group once I have a confirmation here, maybe here on the Canadian dollar versus the Japanese yen. Okay. If you have any more questions, yeah. Is gold finished? Let's take a look again on gold, guys. That's why we are here. Gold is strongly bullish, guys. Yeah, I've told you that if the dollar index drops after, let's take a look on a lower time frame, the DXY drops as the US factory orders have disappointed a little. And let's take a look on gold. Gold rallies, right? That's why I love to use correlations, guys. I've told you at the beginning of this webinar, when we talked about gold, that if the US dollar will depreciate versus the other currencies, if the DXY, the US dollar index, will decrease after the US factory orders release, then gold should jump higher. So when the US dollar drops, gold increases, guys. This is a safe haven asset. Gold is used as a safe haven. So right now we still have to wait here on gold for the price to really make a valid breakout here. Okay, close, test, retest above the warning line, above these former highs. We have here an important resistance at 1797.72. So only if the price will register a valid breakout above it, test, retest, maybe the price will decrease a little again to retest the broken warning line, then we may have a new long opportunity maybe, but this only if the DXY will continue to drop. Okay guys, so right now the price of gold tries to escape from this continuation pattern. So this range, this narrow range, is seen as a continuation pattern because the bias is bullish, the outlook is bullish. So as long as the price stays above this sliding line, here it has failed to retest it, signaling that we have strong buyers in the short term. So the bias is bullish, guys, here, and the price could continue to increase if it makes a valid breakout here, and if we'll have a confirmation here, if we'll have a valid breakout from this pattern, maybe we will find an entry, a good risk to reward long position, and we will come back with the signal, and I will send you the signal within the VIP Telegram group, guys, as soon as we have a confirmation here. So don't worry, guys, even if we don't open more live trades here, we'll keep an eye on this one, and if we'll have a confirmation here, we will send you the signal, guys. Okay, I believe that's it for today. Thank you again, guys, for joining here at this live session, live webinar. I was live for about 1 hour and 15 minutes, and don't forget, guys, to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It is very important, because if you will subscribe to our YouTube channel, you will be notified, you will receive a notification every time we will go live, every time we will upload new trading tutorials, educational tutorials, or market analysis, or any other videos. Okay, so you can subscribe, and please subscribe, guys, to our YouTube channel. And if you analysis and services, please give us a like. It will be very helpful for us. Okay,